Okay, we are live. Oh my gosh, that is blown out. Normally I like to go right here, but oh boy, hold up here. What do we got? How's that? Is that better? All right, we're good. How's everyone doing? Toby. Oh, yes. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Good morning, everyone. I hope we have our cup of coffee. Oh, maybe I'll just sit right here. That way there's no reflection in the back. Oh, good afternoon. Yes. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you reside. Oh wow, we got 15 people in the chat. This is wild. This is my first live in a while. Oh, by the way, this is not a live stream for All the Pretty Horses. We will be talking about anything and everything. The live stream dedicated to All the Pretty Horses, that'll be next week. Yeah, so no rush. I finished it a couple days ago, and I actually filmed my review a couple days ago too. And my goodness, what a book! What a book! What an experience! I hadn't read anything like it. Cormac McCarthy is he's so unique, so different. Yeah, I can't really explain it. I'm still trying to get over that book right now. Got knots in my stomach. Still haven't finished it. No rush. No rush at all. You haven't even started yet. Okay, well, uh, you got a week ish, and it's not a hard read. Depends on your pace of reading and how you like to go about reading, but I was able to finish it in a few days. I just couldn't put it down. The language, the writing style, I was enthralled. Howdy doody, partner. I've been saying partner a lot because they say that a lot in this book. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. This is brutal. There we go. Nope. You know what? That's fine. That's okay. What is everyone reading? What books are we reading right now? What have we finished? What are we looking forward to? I just finished Boy's Life, finally. Took me a while, but it's done. And I have my review of that. It's in the description of this live stream. You can check that out if you'd like. This is an all-timer for me. This is going to be this is so good. I was really happy that Mike's Book Reviews mentioned it to me, and it was a book that stole me. You know, it just took me and grabbed me and pulled me in the pages. Yeah, really good. I do wish it was longer though. Oh wow, we got a lot of folks. I DNF'd All the Pretty Horses. Okay. Like even the prose is unique, and guess I haven't gotten to the main plot yet, but I guess I don't like westerns. I would love to read The Road though. Hey, The Road is different. That's completely different. Anderson, did you like the prose of All the Pretty Horses? Were you like iffy on it? Because I got about This was tough to get into. It was kind of a shock, an adjustment, and it took me about 30 pages, 50 pages to really get in the flow of Cormac McCarthy's writing. And ugh, yeah, I was nervous. I was like, "Oh man, this is interesting. What's happening here?" And then when you learn to trust the author and you just kind of let go, yeah, it's worth it. Good afternoon from Greece. I hope I can finish all the pretty horses in time. I'm so behind. No rush. No rush at all. I'm sure the latter half of the live stream, not this live stream, the next live stream, will be spoilers, but for the most part, you know, maybe avoid the live stream if you want to avoid spoilers. Hello from Poland. How you doing? Ballcracker 7000. Polishing off 11/22/63 before the end of August. Great book. Toby, I keep hearing about that book. I keep hearing about it, and I'll get to it. I'll get to it. But because of you, I picked up this bad boy, the Halloween Tree. So I'm saving this Something Wicked This Way Comes and the Halloween Tree for October. Well, yes, October. And then in September, well, right now, so I finished All the Pretty Horses. Currently halfway through True Grit, started that yesterday. Easy read, great story. Quite surprised with it. Loving it. So after that, I will get into Anxious People by Frederick Bachman in time for September. So that's kind of my reading plan. And then The Shining, after Something Wicked This Way comes. So late October, early November. And then, of course, John from Talking Story and I agreed that we are going to dive into this in December together. Lonesome Dove. Been holding off on this one for a very long time. Hear nothing but good things about it. And the thing is, I think the hype train for Lonesome Dove is actually justified. I'm quite wary and cautious when it comes to hype around books. And I don't know, there's something about Lonesome Dove that I'm like, I trust it. I trust that people really think it's a masterpiece, and I think it's something I'm going to love. Reading Mistborn currently, and then going to read Howling Dark. Very cool. Good afternoon. I'm reading Killing Floor by Lee Child. Currently reading Star Wars Darth Bane Book 1. Man, I don't know where to begin with all of the Star Wars books. There's so many. Just finished The Fall by Albert Camus. Such a difficult read. Now I've started Assassin's Apprentice. Oh, Assassin's Apprentice is an easy breezy read. Slow down, enjoy it, savor every word. I just finished The Man Who Died 7 Times. It was just recently translated to English. What's that one about? Never heard of it. I have Kiss the Girls as my recent read with all the previous books I was reading. Preparation for Shadows Upon Time, I'm doing a reread of the series, and I'm currently on Howling Dark. Wow. Yeah, you've got time. I am still so far behind on Sun Eater. I haven't even started book 2 yet. When the time comes, I'll be ready. Just finished Disquiet Gods, part of the Sun Eater series. Okay, everyone is on that train right now. Waiting for Children of Dune from the library, but also reading Frankenstein and the Count of Monte Cristo. Loving those so far. Love it. I don't know how you read multiple books at the same time. I can't. My brain just can't do it. Harrison, how you doing? Hey, Thomas, just finished Oh yeah, All the Pretty Horses too. Loved it. Planning on reading the next book in the book, The Crossing. Yeah, Harrison, I really want to read the rest of the trilogy. Like, I don't mind dropping everything right now just to finish it. I really want to read The Crossing. Will of the Many, nice. Reading nonfiction right now, but I enjoy being here for the hangout. Seth, you're more than welcome to hang out. Grab a cup of coffee. Let's just chill. Hey, what's up? Twice Born by Grace. It's at the cinema on Monday. Fantastic Four because of the trailer. I need to read The Odyssey. Oh yeah, I forgot. Haven't even seen the trailer yet. Do you have a date in mind for the next book club meeting? It's definitely going to be next week. So first week of September. I'll let you know ahead of time for sure. Few days. I was Effie on the prose. I had to go at a slower pace to imagine the story. It was more like watching one of those black and white films without sound. Reading the dialogue on the next slide makes sense. Yeah, Anderson, I think it's definitely different. All the Pretty Horses, the way Cormac writes, it's something I'll mention in my review of it. It's very authoritative, very powerful writing. It's very definitive, as in he leaves plenty of room for thought and freedom of thought and coming up with your own conclusions, or at least leaving you in the dark for a bit. But the way the writing is it's very just boom, this is that. They rode, the sunset over the mesa. The way he describes landscapes, the way he describes the way characters talk, it's just boom, boom, boom. That is what it is. There's no ambiguity in the words. It's more about there's ambiguity in what isn't said, but what is said, it's unlike anything I've read, and I can't wait to talk about it with all of you on the next week's live stream. Cormac writes like a reflection in a dark mirror. I agree. I may try All the Pretty Horses again if I enjoy the road, but at least we'll enjoy hearing you guys discuss it. If that's fun, I may want to retry. Don't force it if you don't like it. But if you love the road, I'd give All the Pretty Horses another try. Jared Henderson actually mentioned in John's live stream on Talking Story last week that the road is much more accessible in prose than All the Pretty Horses, because All the Pretty Horses and Blood Meridian were some of his earlier works. Joe Hill is coming to the UK for a book tour in October. I'm thinking of trying to read The Fireman in before seeing him. I have yet to read Joe Hill. Just finished The Road and really want to get to All the Pretty Horses next. Love it. Just about to start a Dance with Dragons, but might also try Boy's Life based on your recent review. Conrad, love it. Are you in the middle of A Song of Ice and Fire? Song of Fire and Ice, however it is? Because if you are in the middle of it, Boy's Life will be a great break. Great little palate cleanser. Elizabeth, hello. How are you? Love seeing your comments, by the way. You leave such meaningful insight. Getting more coffee here. Been drinking a lot of little half cups, little baby cups. Also, in my All the Pretty Horses book review, I will have a little surprise in there. I'll be doing a demonstration of cowboy coffee, how to brew that up. Very unique, very interesting. I saw you'll be discussing Witcher 3 soon. That will be an interesting video. Yes, I will be. I'll be on Alan's channel tonight. think the link is in the description. So that'll be at 5:30. I think it's 5:30 my time, Pacific Standard Time. Made it. Just got home from work. Hey, how you doing? Okay, I need to catch up real quick. I got new glasses and I'm still blind. Like an old man here. He's reading The Devils, couldn't get into it. So started Boys Life thanks to you, 75 pages in. Love it, Benjamin. That's awesome. I've heard a little back and forth on The Devils. Like it's good, it's bad. I don't know. And I haven't read anything of Joe Abercrombie yet. After Anderson, after reading Cormac McCarthy, All the Pretty Horses, I know it's recency bias. It's been a few days since I finished the book, but I can see why people think Cormac is one of the greatest American authors, period. They say he's like the Shakespeare of the West. I've been reading The Way of Kings and can't wait to start The Name of the Wind, The Sword of Kaigan, Dune, and Wheel of Time, along with the rest of the Cosmere. Wow, that's a cheese plate of books. A lot of different flavors, a lot of different adventures. You have a lot of journeys, and that's exciting. Protein shake, Dr. Protein Shake. Oh, The Halloween Tree is so good. What a beautiful and quick read. I always recommend it as a quick dose of Bradbury. He's the king of Halloween and dark nostalgia. Toby, you're the man. I have been trying to get my wife to read something different. Not pushing her or anything, but I know she's talked about wanting to read something else other than Dungeon Crawler Carl. I might suggest or try to get her to read Halloween Tree just because it's short, during October. Why not? Hopefully she says yes to that. She might try Stephen King though. I don't know yet. Yeah, the hype train is fully justified. What a book. Yeah, Lonesome Dove. I hear nothing but good things. Just the big word masterpiece is what I hear when it comes to Lonesome Dove. I have this old version, this mass market paperback. I wouldn't mind reading it from this, but I kind of want the 40th anniversary edition only because there's that foreword by that screenwriter, that famous screenwriter. I can't remember his name, but he's written a few of my favorite films, and I would love to hear his insight on Lonesome Dove. Gosh, I would love for them to remake Lonesome Dove, but you got to give it to the right group of artists. Maybe Roger Deakins to film it. Hello from Norway. Currently reading East of Eden, having an iced coffee. Lonesome Dove is my favorite book. Love that. My friend, actually, my good friend John, not from Talking Story. This is my best friend who was my best man at my wedding, my officiant. Amazing guy. He and I have such great conversation about books, stories, video games, movies, and we definitely go below and beneath the surface. We get into depth, and we're able to evaluate things that we like and dislike and provide reasoning. And he just started Name of the Wind for the first time. He's cooking through it. He's 250 pages in, and I hopped on a call with him the other day, and he said he likes it. He says it's an easy breezy read. He loves the characters. He loves the world building. He really likes how grounded the magic system is. And he does wish that Rothfuss would go in depth a little more. And I think, John believes that he's in the beginning of the story, which he is. But one thing about Name of the Wind is it's a very slow book. And one of the biggest criticisms is that there's no plot, or the plot kind of meanders and it's kind of all over the place. Um, and that's one of the reasons I actually appreciate the book more. But I think John, I hope he is keeping his expectations grounded, and allowing himself to just go on the journey. Um, I hope he's not let down with the fact that Name of the Wind is not your typical book in regards to plot. And so I say that you mentioned East of Eden. John definitely plans on reading East of Eden next, or eventually. He wants to read Steinbeck and really get into poetry. And he mentions poetry, and I'm like, dude, read Ray Bradbury. Even though I haven't read Ray Bradbury yet, but talk about appreciation for prose. I feel like John would really like Something Wicked This Way Comes or something like that. The Darth Bane trilogy is incredible. It's pronounced Albert Camus. Okay. Begin Star Wars with the Heir to the Empire trilogy. It got me back into reading. Such a good trilogy. I imagine the sequel trilogy doesn't exist and that trilogy is canon. Is the Heir to Empire, is that the one with Thrawn? Because I hear that is a really good trilogy. Name of the Wind lives up to the hype, unlike Piranesi. I agree. And I keep seeing a lot of hate on Name of the Wind. And I think the hate is going to continue to grow only because I think people are so against the author and that they're fixated on the author and that I think they just fixate on the author a bit too much. And I think we need to just step back and read books for what they are and not, you know, allow to get lost in the words first and in the story first, then maybe appreciate the author after or along the way. Because when you're going into a book with hate for an author, or you're just hating a book because of the author, I don't know. I mean, there's two sides to the same coin, I guess, but I just see a lot of hate for Name of the Wind, and that's okay. A lot of people are going to hate books you love. They're going to not like books you love. They're going to love books you don't like. But when I reread Name of the Wind, I will have a much more, I'll be able to give a more in-depth opinion on it. And the reason I just hold it up so highly right now for the past 4 years is because it is the book that started my journey in reading. Um, yes, I love the book. I love the writing. I love the story. I love the characters. But it's more about what that book means to me. It's less about what's in it and when it came to me and what it did to me. That's why I hold it so highly. Um, and that's why I'll talk about it and I'll praise about it so much because it means so much to me. So, um, you know, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but there's a reason I keep talking about it. I like talking about things that have influenced me, and without that book, I don't think I wouldn't be reading. I'm not even kidding. Maybe Harry Potter would have got me into reading more, but I think that was the jumping pad for me. Yeah. Dr. Protein Shake. Yes, I have read Wise Man's Fear. 30% of the way through Empire of Silence, loving it, but I can see why you didn't like it as much with your preference Name of the Wind and Wheel of Time. Yeah, I mean it's different, and I think it's going to take time to appreciate it, especially going through book 2. Watching in the background while I work. Hey, I love it. I love being a part of someone's background. Even if you just put me on your counter while you make coffee, I'm honored. Taylor Sheridan. Yes, Sean Spencer, you are correct. I wanted to get his name correctly. I think he did a foreword for Lonesome Dove, and there's a reason I want to buy that edition. He did write Sicario, and he wrote Hell or High Water, both of which are on my top 10 movies. Was thinking about this the other day. McCarthy, so good because meaningful messages and philosophies in his stories are hidden behind complicated and ridiculous word choice. Yes. Oh my gosh. I wish I could add that in my review. That is so true. That is so true. Don't force if you don't like it. A perfect mindset to have. I like to think there's a certain time slotted to each piece of literature. Reading shouldn't be forced. I agree, Elizabeth. I agree. I'm right there with you. So I'm catching up with the chat here. I'm all over the place right now. Bear with me, everyone. Okay, real quick, Elizabeth. Yes, meandering plots are more realistic, honestly. Yes, I find the fact that when a plot meanders or isn't really doesn't have like a foundation, and you were told, hey, we're going to go from point A to point B, or hey, the inciting incident is this is basically what the rest of the story is going to be about. I like it when you're just kind of going through it, and it's kind of emergent, and it emerges from moments within the meandering plot, and that's what helps me get a little more immersed. uh Also, Devils is a good starting point for Abercrombie, because while it's fine, it's not his best work. His first Law series is peak, so you'd have that to look forward to if you don't love Devils. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Currently in the middle of Song and Ice and Fire, but I think I'll take you up on the suggestion. Yeah, Boy's Life will be a great little departure from fantasy, and you'll come right back into Song of Ice and Fire with energy. Seth, Seth Topper, anybody a Ken Liu fan, Chinese fantasy? I've heard a lot about that author, and I haven't tried it yet. Did you do the DLC in Witcher? I started Heart of Stone, but I stopped because I didn't want it to end. I saw a booktuber saying he was nervous to read longer books because he'd not be able to make content. I mentioned you and that there's no rush. I told him to take his time and to just enjoy the journey. Paul the Bookworm, you're the best. Yeah. Whenever I read a long book, 500-600 pages long, I'm excited because I get to get lost in this larger book, a longer story. But there is some gentle pressure that bubbles beneath that's like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make a book review for a while. I'm not going to be able to talk about other books for a while. So when I read Boy's Life, I made 3 videos on it, and it can get exhausting, I feel like. I hope it doesn't get exhausting. If I just keep talking about the same book over and over, because that's the only book I'm reading. I can't read multiple books at the same time, and I don't want to rush through a book for the sake of just getting to the next one. If I'm rushing through a book, it's because I'm devouring it and I'm loving it. I read, let's see, 300-page book right here. I read 130 something pages in a day. Started this yesterday. I'll probably finish it tonight or tomorrow because I love it. That's 430 pages in less than a week. When you look at it like that, wow, I read a lot. But I look at it more as I was lost in a story and I couldn't stop reading it. And I just can't stop turning the pages. So it is all about perspective and how you approach reading or any hobby. Yeah, it's less about the word count and the page count, more about the content and really getting lost in that story. So talking about that, Lonesome Dove, I think, is over 900 pages. That's a long book. So I wonder what that's going to be like in December or January, February, how long it'll take me to read that book. And you know me, I'm definitely not going to be rushing that book. We'll see what happens. Just came by to say hello. Unfortunately, can't stay because of work. Gosh dang it. I'm sorry, I might have missed you, but I appreciate you. Thanks for saying hi. Yes, Heir to the Empire is Thrawn. Yes, Mike's book reviews mentioned that. He said this is like one of the greatest trilogies in sci-fi. Currently reading Throne of Glass, holding for a friend in my library. Hold for Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. Should be coming through my any day. I'm role-playing as a Witcher in Skyrim, and an NPC gave me a gold piece as a gift and cracked up. If you haven't seen the show, you won't get it. I haven't seen the show, I'm sorry. Have you read Wise Man's Fear? Yes. Toby, funny how times change. Years ago, Name of the Wind was universally loved, I feel. Now I see more negative than positive. It's not perfect, but I love it. Yeah. I don't think it's perfect by any means, and I think the second book, Wise Man's Fear, isn't perfect, but I love it, and I love what it does. I love that it takes its time, and I love that it takes risks. I don't want this perfectly curated book that's moment for moment, beat for beat, that's just the perfectly paced story, and it's got all the tropes, and it has a happy ending. I don't want that. I'd rather have a book that takes risks and takes its time. There's definitely a case for not knowing too much about an author and just enjoying the book for the plot and characters. I agree, Paul. I agree. Typically don't pick up books if I dislike the author because I don't want to financially support some people. If I already own the book, then I'm able to separate art from author. Yeah, that happens, Finn. That's me with video game companies, with just how greedy the big publishers have become and how little they care about the players. Books are different for me. I really do separate from the author. I don't really focus on them. I don't study them. I don't, sometimes I'll read a book because of the name, but outside of the name and their library, I don't know much about them. And I don't want to know much about them because I don't want that to get in the way of my enjoyment of a book. I agree with books that started your journey as a reader. I've always held HP as a big part of my reading journey despite J.K. Rowling's terrible stances. Yeah, I mean, Harry Potter was part of, was an aspect of my journey into reading, and then Name of the Wind came along and swept me off of my feet. Have you read or heard of Jean's book of the New Sun? I have, and I will wait. I will wait for that. I would love to read it. I hear good things about both of those books. Hell or High Water is incredible. Yes, it is. I would love to rewatch it. I'm on a Western kick, guys. I've got True Grit. All the Pretty Horses, Lonesome Dove. I got Butcher's Crossing over there. Sisters Brothers, something like that. I've just never explored the genre, and the time period is fascinating. Just fascinating. I was telling my wife about that in the car. It's just such a interesting time, and I know very little of it. I mean, it's post-Civil War. You got the Gold Rush, you've got territories, you've got various peoples and institutions, you've got, laws and lawyers creeping in and police and marshals, and then you've got bandits and outlaws. I mean, it's the Wild West. And then you've got, bit by bit, as the 1930s and 40s come in with cars and industry. I wonder what that was also like with horses. You've got folks who rode horses to get from point A to point B, and then cars come in. You'll see bits of that in All the Pretty Horses, because that's in the late 1940s, I believe. It's fascinating. That time period is just fascinating. Although, sorry, missed the beginning, but glad I'm here for the end. I'm glad you're here too, Francois. I'm mispronounced your name. I'm so sorry. But I'm glad you're here. I think that's kind of lame, to be honest. You better be prepared to never buy anything again, because everyone does something you disagree with. I also think it's weird to hate authors who support common sense. Ralph09, that's something. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough ball game out there. Thankfully, we have the freedom to, kind of like, hey, I want to support this artist. I want to support this writer, this video game company, this small business, this corporation, yeah. Feel hungry to share my thoughts on things I read, watch, listen to. Please give me some tips on how to film and start on YouTube. Cinco, you just start, grab a camera. Doesn't matter if it's a good quality or not. I mean, I'm on my webcam on my Mac. I'm sure the audio quality is meh. Just start. Be yourself. It'll take time. Maybe not, but it would take time to just find your voice and find that confidence to just feel comfortable in front of the camera. And you might be already comfortable in front of the camera. It just takes a lot of bravery to get out there, put yourself out there. And once you're over that hump, just be yourself, be honest, and do it because you do it. And do it because you love to do it, not because of all these other people and voices and, John from Talking Story, we've talked about this, how everyone has a voice. Everyone has a unique voice and a unique take. Sure, there's hundreds of thousands of channels out there on YouTube. Hundreds of millions and thousands, just so many profiles on Instagram and Twitter. A lot of voices, a lot of people out there. But there's no one that is you. And no one has your voice and your soul. And do it because you love it. And just be yourself, because no one else is you. It sounds so cliche, but I mean it. It's all true. It gives me a sense of confidence, and just, I don't know, continuity and consistency when approaching YouTube. Witcher slaps. I gotta try it again. Yeah, Ralph, it's phenomenal. Toby's got quite a hot take question here. Not a hot take, but it's a good question. Do you ever hesitate with rereading worrying that it might change your opinion of the magical first read. Yes, absolutely. But because I hold Name of the Wind so highly, yeah, maybe it'll change. But the magic of the first time won't be captured again. The first time is done. However, there is such thing as magic of the second time. Of a reread, of replaying a game, rewatching a movie, picking up on details, and just re-experiencing it through fresh eyes. And I think that's magic in and of itself. Feel free to use that comment on McCarthy in your review. Question, by the way, seeing as you're playing Elden Ring, what are your thoughts on Souls-like market now being massively oversaturated? I don't know too much about that. I have taken a break from Elden Ring, but I do think when Breath of the Wild came out, or when it came out, maybe before, there was an oversaturation with open world video games, and it just every game wants to be a time sink and just take up your time. They want you to only play their game. They don't want you here, they don't want you there, they want you on this game, their game. So that sucks. Souls-like, yeah, fun, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to capture what FromSoft does with Souls-like and Elden Ring. I don't mind hearing about the same book a few times. It's nice to see a person real normally on this platform. Yeah, I appreciate that. If an author is dead, you're not going to be supporting them. Sometimes you'll even support a good cause, like David Eddings. I don't know who that is. Oh man, I'm way behind. Oh my gosh. Alex, thank you for the coffee. You are awesome. I appreciate you. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, I'm way behind. I love hearing thoughts in process videos on the same book. I appreciate that, Toby. I find your slower pace a breath of fresh air. It's why I love your channel. Galaxy Rose, I appreciate you. With the whole I'm worried I can't make content, it's such a shame that book tags have almost died out because they were fun content while not having to feel like you had to rush. That's a good point, Paul. I was thinking about this. Alex, what's up? I'm getting ready for work. I don't know if anything is perfect. I feel all have a flaw somewhere in everything, even Tolkien. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Nothing is going to be perfect, but we could still appreciate things for what they are. Before I get into the chat, I was thinking about, Paul, the bookworm you mentioned about content. The more I read, the more books I have under my belt, and the more I will have to rank and actually have a top 10 list. I would love to have that. I'd love to be a part of that content on YouTube. But sure, I've read 10 books this year. I've read more than 10 books this year and last year. But of those books, I don't think I can make, a top 10 list from that yet. I have to read a few more years. I have to read for a while in order to have books land on a top 10 list. I don't want to make a list for the sake of making a list. Recently, Booktube has just fed me lists and lists and lists of books. 40 books I read, 50 books I try to read in 50 days. And I'm just like, dude, that's great. I love it. It gets views, it gets clicks, but I can't even come up with a top 10 books list of all time. Can't do it. There's a handful of books that I know for a fact are there, but that's just going to take time. And I don't know how I want to approach that. I would love to share that with you, but I don't want it to become clickbait because I could just say, hey, top 10 books of all time, but not have 10 books to talk about. But that'd be lying. That wouldn't be honest. I don't know how I would title that, but I would like to document that process of making a 10 books of all time list. Do you subscribe to any BookBox special services? Do pretty covers matter? I do not subscribe to those. Pretty covers are fun, but uh, it's more about the content within. I do have a couple pretty cover books because I enjoy them, but my whole bookshelf is filled with books that I aim to open up and read. I don't mind if I get coffee on them. Don't mind if I get food on them. I don't mind if I read it on the beach and get dirt in between the pages. But my hardcover books, those are kind of, you know, for show. And I don't have a lot of those. What's your daily routine? Habits you include which make you feel sane? Oh boy, I that's a long question. Let me get to that in a bit. Um, trying to catch up here. I'm way behind. Oh my gosh, y'all. Let me just catch up recently. I like breaking my favorite novels into what made me feel, what made me wonder, what made me think, and those sorts of questions rather than a top 10. That's a nice way to look at it. Have you read any literary fiction books? Vince, what do you mean by that? I'm curious because literary fiction, I believe this is literary fiction right here. Isn't literature literature? What is literary fiction? Because I'm curious uh, what that would mean. I generally don't know how many books I've read this year. It's part of Goodreads. I don't even notice until the end of the year. Same, Paul. Same. Have you considered having a Patreon and a Discord so we can continue the conversation outside the comments of your videos? Yeah, how does that work with a Patreon? And like, what would I even offer on a Patreon? I do have a membership here on the YouTube channel, but that's for you guys to just support. You get little emojis and stuff like that, and I appreciate that. Um, but a Patreon, that's something else. What kind of content would I offer, and what would you want to see? I have thought about member only videos, like vlogs or outtakes or longer form reviews, but I don't know. I don't know yet. I think literary fiction basically books that don't fit into specific genres or focus too much on characterization rather than plot devices, I guess. Huh. Okay. Persona 5 and 4 Let's Play on Patreon. Yes, Alex. Speaking of Persona 5, I did get through the third palace. Just another way to support even if you didn't make anything. You're awesome, dude. Uh I I'm taking breaks from Persona because it's such a long game and I don't want it to become a chore because it's such a long game. Right now, I'm more than halfway through Resident Evil 4 remake. Probably get through that, love it, and then I really want to play Metal Gear Solid Delta. Haven't played that. Haven't played that yet. Uh, Never played a Metal Gear game, and I hear this is a good spot to start. And it's a short game. Please don't stress about falling behind on the chat. We're just happy to hang out right now. Appreciate you, Conrad. That's awesome. A Discord community and a book club would be enough an offering for me to support Patreon for you. I need to look out for that. A Discord would provide your audience to read and discuss together. Okay. I'll look into that. I have so many balls that I have to juggle. With my business, my hobbies, my wife, books I want to read. Um, and I don't know if a Discord would spread me too thin, but I would love to look into that, give it enough research, and maybe, you know, give that a shot. Um, Callahan, what was the video game you mentioned you and your wife enjoyed? Split Fiction. Remember what I told you about the ladder in Elden Ring Tarnished? Oh, is that you? How you doing? Uh, Catching up on the chat here. I've come to accept that it's okay to not have a favorite book of all time. My favorite book of all time are at least 3. Yeah, same. Uh, it's hard to put books, stories, games, movies in a box and put labels on them. A book is going to mean something different, 10 years ago versus now. Uh, that same book that you read 10 years ago will have a different meaning and feeling when you read it as an adult. Um, and certain books, games, movies come to you at the right time and at a particular time in your life. And some books may not land well. Maybe your headspace is not into it. Maybe you're not feeling that. So you wait 10, 15 years and then it hits you. And then it becomes something meaningful. What's your next read after True Grit? That's going to be Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This has been on my list for over a year. And I love this author. I've heard good things about him. I've read the first 2 or 3 pages and I can already tell it's something I like. A lady at the bookstore recommended it to me and she said it's funny, it's emotional, and definitely seems like something up my alley. And I'm tired of fantasy right now. So it's nice to read books that are just fiction, that don't have the veil and blanket of fantasy all over it. I feel like I've been reading fantasy for the past 5 years and it's great. I love the genre, but it becomes exhausting after a while. If doing live streams work for you, then don't feel pressure to add more. Live streams are great. This is a great way to just hang out, have you guys chat and talk. By the way, if I have missed some of your comments or questions, feel free to copy and paste them and put them up now because I feel like I've just lost everything. Uh, yeah, I'm way lost right now. So I'm sorry. I'll catch up with y'all. Could me make Anxious People the group read for September? Yes. Actually, that is what the book is going to be for September. This will be the book club book for September. All the Pretty Horses, August, September, October. Sorry, I thought I put the no notifications on my phone and it still gave me the ring. If you're digging the westerns, got to do Blood Meridian. Yes, Alex. I have been tempted to just dive fully into Cormac McCarthy. But I don't know. I don't want to get tired of westerns before I start Lonesome Dove. So I want to sprinkle them in. But I've been really tempted to just keep reading Cormac McCarthy because I love his writing style and I love what he does with the English language. Yeah, it's very dark. I hear good things about it. I've not heard of Anxious People. What's the elevator pitch? Something you think might interest me. I've only read The Road, Blood Meridian, but I need more McCarthy. Well, hey, Alex, this is it, man. This is it. This is my first Western that I've ever read. So good. So good. Blood Meridian is beautiful, bloodshot and atmospheric, like holding a dark ruby up to a lantern. Ooh, love it. Toby, Anxious People, what is the elevator pitch for Anxious People? Well, here it is. Right here. On the inner page. A charming, poignant novel about a crime that never took place, a would-be bank robber who disappears into thin air, and 8 extremely anxious strangers who find they have more in common than they ever imagined. It's less about what this book is about and more about how Frederick Bachman is known for harnessing and capturing the humanity and all the little nuances within our personalities and who we are and what make us us and the relatability to life. I'm excited. How do you read past something you don't like or agree with, like a trigger, and not just DNF it? I know this is kind of a weird sentence right here, but I don't. The term trigger is something that I feel has definitely come up more and more, and even books are now having warnings before them, and I think that just I don't know. I don't get triggered ever. I just I don't know. I think there comes a point where I mean I don't read a lot of dark books or books that are dark for the sake of being dark, like Depraved or glorifying violence and various acts. So going into books and stories and movies, I really just try to keep an open mind and come at it from a blank slate so I can get lost in the words and in the story. So I guess in a sense, I don't get triggered, I get shocked. And I'm like, whoa. And getting shocked is a good thing for me because I'm feeling what the author intended. And when, say there's something crazy that happens in a story, whatever it may be, I think if it calls for it, if a character makes a choice that is crazy, that can be triggering, if a character makes that choice because that is what they would do, then I'm okay with it. But if an author, a writer is just putting things in there that are for shock value, then I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to care for it. I'm not going to feel for it. Hopefully that makes sense. I like to get shocked sometimes. And I think that's part of what makes a story stick with you when you have shocking moments happen. But I don't seek those stories out for the sake of like, oh yeah, I enjoy violence and I enjoy this and that. No, I seek good stories because there's flawed characters making bad decisions, regardless of what those decisions are. Long-winded, I know. Something Wicked This Way comes like really freaky horror, or is it a little toned down? I'm interested. I know nothing, but Sean, I don't want to know, because that's what makes those moments shocking. Those horror moments shocking. So I want that horror to really surprise me when that comes. Wow, Toby writing books. Wow, is Toby writing books? So Twice Born by Grace, I think I DNF because I'm not connected to a story, or I feel like the story is hitting me on the head over and over and over again. When the author is not trusting the reader, when they're over-explaining things, when the language is not simplistic, but I hate to use the term, but juvenile. When the language is too, when the word choice is not mature and trusting, then I'm going to DNF. And I'm very selective at what I read, and I want to make sure I research the books well enough to the point that I know I'll enjoy it. And sometimes you get surprised, and you're like, wow, I did not like that book at all. I really thought I was going to like it. I need to read Anxious People. I loved his A Man Called Ove. For literary fiction, I highly recommend Emily St. John Mandel. She sprinkles aspects of other genres in her stories, like Station 11, but I love Sea of Tranquility. Not a big book either. Okay. Excuse me. Meridian definitely has a point. You are meant to not enjoy the violence or the slurs. Yeah, I look forward to that book because I have not read anything that has me in a knot. Has my stomach in a knot. Here and there with Stephen King, but Stephen King is much more enjoyable, in my opinion. I think Cormac McCarthy was like one of the first authors that made me have a knot in my stomach the whole time. This book is not happy. I don't know, but it's beautiful. It's lonely. And it just made me feel really strongly. It made me feel desolate. And with hearing about Blood Meridian, I look forward to that because I want to feel that shock. I want to feel that ick. And I haven't felt that in a book yet. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I see what you're saying, Twice Born by Grace. No, I get that. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. No, I get that. My bad for taking your words out of Wheel of Time. People say the slog happens later, but I read Shadow Rising and I'm suffering already. Yeah, Shadow Rising was a slog for me. Yep. I mean, Wheel of Time is fine, but book 4 is supposed to be one of the highest points, and it's just okay to me. Yep. It was just okay to me too. I think the first 3 were great. 5 was great. 6 and 4 were slog. 7, 8, and 9, favorite books. You plan on playing Dark Souls? I think you'll really like its vibe. I would love to play it, Dark Souls, but um, I'm too scared because it's the OG Dark Souls. It doesn't have that open world freedom of Elden Ring. Have you connected with Nick from Books Are Sick? I think you two would vibe. I would love to. I don't think he has an email. I've commented a few times in his videos, but I don't get anything back. I would love to connect with him, maybe do a live stream with him. He's so chill. You mentioned picking up on details from a reread. All I'm saying is green feather. Okay. All I'm saying. Have you tried mocha pot coffee? I recently went to Italy and it's all my family drank. I describe it as middle between espresso and drip coffee. Wow. Okay. I need to write that down for my wife. I have tried to make cowboy coffee, and boy, that's an experience. You just boil the coffee down, and it's interesting. I like it, but it's definitely not my preferred way of drinking coffee. McCarthy turns everyday life mythic. Yes. Yes. This book was so mythical. Like, sorry, there's like a loud seagull. You're just drinking coffee, eating tortillas and beans, setting up camp, riding on the road, and it's so, you're just enthralled the whole way through. Telephone wires turn into lightning rods, ranches turn into oceans, and good men become monsters. Whew! Toby, do you write books? I'm kidding. And you'll also feel icky for finding him absolutely interesting to listen to. Oof, I'm scared. I'm on book 2 of Wheel of Time, loving the vibe so far. Love it, Maxwell. Just started All the Pretty Horses this morning for the book club. When do you plan on hosting the live stream? Next week. So you'll have a few days. You have a week-ish. Elden Ring was harder for me, to be honest. Interesting. However, I absolutely love 11/22/63, but that word was a word of the time, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. I'm excited to read that book, though. I think I've seen 2 or 3 other people bring that book up again and again and again, and cannot wait. Well, I probably won't finish All the Pretty Horses by then, but look forward to the live stream after I've read it. Yeah. Okay, so I really want to play Red Dead Redemption 2. I know I've mentioned that many times now. I can't stop thinking about it, and I am just waiting for the day, the perfect day to start. And I don't know when that'll be. I'm playing through Resident Evil 4 right now. I want to do Metal Gear Solid Delta. Clear the way for Red Dead. So we'll see. I just keep looking up trailers, and it's nice. But I gotta wait. My schedule is crazy. I've got weddings. I'm editing films. It's very busy. Today's going to be an editing day. I've got a wedding this weekend. Got a few weddings next month. My wife is hosting a coffee pop-up again, where she'll be making coffee and inviting everyone to come over and hang out and drink coffee. It's going to be great. Kind of like a mini coffee shop, but for free. Have music and games, and it'll be fun. My wife loves doing that. Oh, Dutch, you were in 3 missions in 1, but how much Red Dead 2 makes me hate you? Yeah, I hate Dutch in Red Dead 1, and I'm sad about Red Dead 1. I replayed that recently. It does not hold up, uh, like I thought it would. Still a gorgeous game, and how that was made in 2010, but it just the story is very, it only picks up at the end. Um, and the whole game just felt like, okay, hey, I'll help you on this quest, but you have to help me do this. But in order to help me do this, we got to go do this. Hold up, Mr. Marston, I won't help you until you do this. It's just like quest after quest after quest, and there's not a lot of character development, and that's why I'm looking forward to Red Dead 2, because it's going to be grounded, it's going to be slower, it'll be character focused, and a world worth exploring. Uh, People keep saying Red Dead 1 is a masterpiece. Even now, I'm like, no, guys. It was then, but it's not timeless. It's not timeless because the gameplay is so dated. In the quest log is dated. The constant quests. Go here, do that, go here, do that, and there's no point. There's no reason behind it. Lenny! Arthur Morgan, classic. That game has made me feel emotions I never thought possible for a few pixelated horses. Cruel, cruel world. Yeah, it's just a GTA clone till the end. I agree. Whereas Red Dead 2 has the same veins, but it's a way different vibe. Yep. Thunder Fox. And to be honest, the hardships in Souls games are part of what makes them so memorable for me. It allows you to connect more with somewhat depressing vibe of the games. I agree. It it makes you feel confident. You build confidence more and more when you play a Dark Souls game. You're like, I did that. Wow. If I could beat this guy, then I can definitely beat this guy. Just got to try 300, 400 more times. Well, that's sad about Red Dead Redemption 1. I know it might be a hot take. Just talking about it makes me want to reread Blood Meridian this November. Even though it's Western, it's a book that bleeds well on a cool night. Whew. Now, what Western books do you think are Red Dead Redemption 2? Because I think, Toby, you said Blood Meridian, right? Because I'll Google on Reddit and be like, hey, what books are like Red Dead Redemption? And I've heard Lonesome Dove, I've heard All the Pretty Horses, I've heard True Grit, but All the Pretty Horses isn't really like Red Dead. I think Red Dead is its own thing. And the most important thing of the prequel. Yep. Or in the case of Dark Souls, the fact that the main character does actually die over and over again. It makes Red Dead Redemption 1 better by the existence of 2. That is a good point. I was kind of excited about playing Red Dead 1 after 2. I mean, those exist in 2, but those quests are optional. Yeah. I wouldn't say they're as predictable in 2. That game is now known for dynamic missions. Red Dead Redemption 2 would be a great book. I know, it would be a great book. Red Dead 2 is definitely Blood Meridian. Border Trilogy is a bit more like Yellowstone, I feel. Okay. Just rated MMM, mega mature. Never played Bloodborne to the end, but the amount I played helped immensely with my depression during the pandemic. I've heard Souls games help with mental attitudes. Like, I don't know what it is about those games, but I assume it's because it builds that level of confidence. Like, wow, I can do this. I beat this boss, then I could definitely continue on through. I could see that being a great encouragement. Just place the library hold on anxious people. Fingers crossed it becomes available in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I hope so, Galaxy. I hope so. Red Country by Abercrombie is a brilliant Western. Oh, wow. He wrote a Western? Okay. Maybe I got to write this down. I haven't read it, but apparently Butcher's Crossing is very Red Dead too. Yeah, I've got Butcher's Crossing too. Alrighty, now I'm at work. Have a good one, everyone. You too, Alex. Cheers, mate. Most of Red Dead is inspired by movies rather than books, so it makes sense that not a lot of books that are similar. Yeah, that makes sense. Bro, you gotta experience the Bloodborne DLC. Thing is, Bloodborne is Sony exclusive. I have an Xbox, so I'm sad. Butcher's Crossing is visceral. Great read. Oh, yeah. I've got it right here. Got it right here. When would be a good time to read Butcher's Crossing? I've heard it is the Moby Dick of Westerns. And I've got this bad boy just chilling, waiting for me. Gives you purpose in life. Hardship gives you purpose. Yeah. Yeah. The only reason I didn't finish Bloodborne was the repetitive grinding nature. Dark Souls definitely makes beating bosses somewhat rewarding because they are so difficult. Blood Meridian is a gothic biblical western, and who doesn't like the sound of that? That does sound nice. What's the Souls game that has to do with werewolves? I think it's a Souls game at least. Oh, I do not know. I don't know. I guess fourth time's the charm, but have you read anything by Robert E. Howard? No. Robert E. Howard. No, I have not. Huh. Any what's a good starting point, do you think? Any particular genre you'd like to read in the future? Gothic, crime, steampunk? Maybe I don't know. I don't know yet. Maybe sci-fi. Finally get into that world. I've heard good things about what's that book? Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary. I've heard great things about that. Few people have recommended it to me, and it's a standalone sci-fi book. That's rare. Literally any Conan the Barbarian story would be a good starting point for Howard. Okay, I'll take that into consideration. The Barbarian. Do you plan on reading oh yeah, I don't know how to say that author's name. I do have Crime and Punishment, but who knows? Who knows when I'll read that? Like, what kind of mindset do I have to be in to read that? Crime and Punishment. That's such a deep book. The Martian was a phenomenal book. Okay. I know you said you didn't like Mistborn, but do you have any plans to ever start the Stormlight Archive? Alex, as of right now, Stormlight has been pushed back way back. And fantasy has been pushed aside. I just don't want to read fantasy right now. But I would eventually love to give Stormlight a try. At least the first book, the very least the first book. But right now, I don't know. For sci-fi, I highly recommend Dune, one of my favorite of all time. Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like Dune is going to be like the Lonesome Dove. Got to be in the right mindset. Got to have nothing else planned around it. Do you read on a Kindle slash opinion on e-reading? I do not read on a Kindle. I have in the past, but I I just think physical reading on a book, opening pages, following the words, and having that in my hand, flipping the pages, it's magical. It's tangible. It allows me to connect to the story that much more. E-reading is nice. It's convenient, but it takes some of that magic out for me. But again, if it helps people read, go e-read, man. Do it. September, always a bit of a blank month for reading, falls awkwardly between the last drops of summer and spooky season. Thinking Boy's Life or American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Yeah, Boy's Life is good. Boy's Life is good for any season. Uh, I think I'm trying to give myself permission to just read whatever during whatever season. Yes, I like to time spooky reads during spooky season or at least fall in particular, but I need to get this idea out of my head that I have to read something that correlates to the season around it. Have to read something wet and rainy while it's raining. When I have done that, I feel like it has put an unnecessary amount of pressure on me to finish a book during that season, during that period of weather. And I'm more fixated on the season and the act of finishing that book rather than actually just getting lost in that book. So I'm trying to not, uh, you know, I'm just trying to be a little more free in my reading and not have so many guidelines. Dropping in to say hello at work. I hope you all have a great day and happy chatting. Hey, hey, the book lounge. Smelling pages, my addiction. I agree. It's just, man, it's crazy that the smell of pages. I don't really smell the pages that much. But one thing in this day and age with digital video games and digital books and streaming services, we don't own a whole lot. And I think with books, it's important to own physical books. If you're that kind of person. If you're not, don't worry about it. But for me, I think there's great value in owning something physical. I also adore the smell of books. I did Summerween this year. Oh, Summerween. I've never even heard of that. Okay. Maxwell, what books did you read during summer? Because of a damaged, dislocated shoulder, I've been restricted to Kindle reading because holding a physical book wasn't possible. My gosh, Paul. Hope you're okay. As I'm getting better, I'm missing physical books. Yeah. There's a true magic behind physical reading. If you want to get into sci-fi, I recommend reading some of Isaac Asimov, I, Robot, or Arthur C. Clarke, Childhood's End. Yeah, I've heard Ender's Game is a good starting point too. But much like fantasy, sci-fi, you just have to be in the right headspace to really transport yourself into something completely different. I think right now, with how busy life has been and is becoming, I want to read books that don't take a lot of mental gymnastics to read. I want to be able to read books that are taking place in this world in various time periods I don't have to learn magic systems. I don't have to learn languages. I don't have to learn nations and political houses. I can just read about some cowboys, or I can read about some boys and some carnival. I'm a big immersive reader, so I like to correlate my reads. I read with music that fits each book, a colored lamp, seasonal. Love that, Toby. I've been reading with Western ambiance lately. Hey, Thomas, hope you're doing well. Hey, the cop, I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for tuning in and hanging out. More on the physical media topic. I've been into that niche on YouTube lately and have decided to invest in a refurbished iPod Classic and a few CDs. Do you stream music or own? I stream music every so often. Spotify, excuse me, I'm gonna have a yawn right now. I never yawn this early. Whoa, need to go get sunlight. Uh, I don't have a Spotify membership anymore, but I do have vinyls back here, and I do want to own vinyls that are meaningful to me and that have those memories of my childhood. And yeah, so I would very much like to own more, but we do stream ambiance music on YouTube, like jazz cafe music, or but I don't know, not a big music listener as much. I listen to music a lot for work because I edit films and I have to find the right music for the right film, but I think I just like the quiet. It's so noisy out there in the world that I don't need loud music all the time or even the radio on. Ender's Game is more YA if I remember. Okay. Love having hardback books on my shelf, but there's a magic to mangling your paperback. I agree. I agree. Berserk, what's up with my keyboard? When I want to get into a genre, I like to go back to its beginning or know just the places to start so I can enjoy that genre better if I just picked a random one in the genre. That's a good point. That's a good point. I like to look up just recommendations by other people when I dive into a genre. When I was getting into westerns, I looked up a few videos, some great insight and great rankings, great all-time western books, and I think I knew where I wanted to start because of those videos. Ring World is a good book plus series if you're interested in the Halo games and want to read the more source material. Thanks, Thomas. I know my wife is into the Halo games, but me not so much. I know you're not into overly depraved books, so I'll be interested to see if you read Child of God by Cormac McCarthy. Oh gosh. Oh no. If you have a more softer, laid back sci-fi, if you want a more softer, laid back sci-fi that can be palate cleanser between heavy reads, try the Murderbot books. Okay. A couple questions for you. What are tropes? Wait, what are tropes? And second, do you enjoy the act of reading the complete joy of the adventure and story, or is it for the message behind them? I rephrase your first question about tropes. Um, I like the act of reading. I like getting lost in the story first, and then allow that feeling to linger and stick with me, and those messages hit me naturally rather than seeking out the message. I read on my Kobo, it helps for someone who's limited on funds. I have the library in my pocket. Ask for physical books and vinyl of my favorites for birthdays. Love that. Yeah. My wife is mad at me for buying books. I keep buying books. I have this stigma where I just want to, when I see something that's below $10, that's a book, I have this thought like, what if this book goes out of print today? And this is the last copy. It's horrible to think like that because I'm just buying books and not reading them. Thankfully, I've finally read more than half of my bookshelf, so that's good. Oh no. Twice Born by Grace, can you pull down one of your curls on your forehead? The hair is not that long as much anymore. Used to be really long, but yeah. Curls, man, they're all over the place. Hello from Switzerland. Hello. The Beatles and the Doors on vinyl sound so good. Ooh, I agree. I'm back. Screens are blah, and I had to rest my eyes. Oh, Elizabeth, I appreciate you. Glad you're back. How you doing? Screens do suck, and I have to stare at them for work. Are you still interested in starting anime? Like visual anime? I think yes and no. I have to be in the right mindset for it. There's a few out there: Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Jack, and outside of that, I don't know yet. uh, let's see. Hello from Switzerland. Love Murderbot. Flowers of Algernon is a great classic science fiction book that could pass as a mainstream novel. Yep. I was recommended that book a while ago and I haven't picked it up yet. Paul the Bookworm, just tell her at least it's not drugs. Yep. 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 I just need to exercise some self-control. I was ordering I ordered the other edition of Lonesome Dove, the 40th anniversary edition, but it kept getting bent and ripped because they just shove it in the mailbox. So I'm returning both of them. Tried twice now. So I'm going to go to a bookstore, buy it physically. That way, I don't mind if a book gets bent or ripped, but when you hand it to me like that, brand new, and I'm paying for it brand new, I'd rather have it in its condition brand new and I make the rips and the folds because those are my memories, not by someone just ripping the books. I don't know. That kind of sucked, but we'll see. I hear a lot of booktubers talk about books and they always mention the tropes, but I never knew what it meant. Could you clarify? Tropes are like, how do I define a trope? Like, gosh, I don't even know how to define a trope. Dare I Google it? What is a trope? Just to a figurative or metaphorical use of a word or expression. So basically, it's so say the knight saves the princess. That's a trope in fantasy. You know, the damsel in distress. That's a trope. These commonalities between books and stories, those would be tropes. They're so common that they become tropes. That's what that is. We got a back and forth discussion about Dune and whatnot. Oh, nope, that's not it. Tropes are different. Okay. Give tropes are regular used plot devices. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Gotta head out, but loved hanging out with you guys. Have a good rest of your day, y'all. Google wasn't. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't think that was the right definition. Uh, yeah, love triangles, damsel in distress, the chosen one trope, uh, the farm boy that's, destined to save the world, that kind of thing. And that's also what makes me love certain books that are able to take tropes and flip them, or they just ignore the trope altogether, or they make you think it's going to go one way and it goes the other way. And I like that. I like that a lot. Paul the Bookworm did a much better job than Google. Yeah, let me read Paul the Bookworms. Where are we at here? Oh, did I miss it? Or did I already read it? Oh, yeah, regular used plot devices. Yep. The Gold Finch may be a good read if you like coming of age stories set in the real world, yet very immersive and relatively easy to read, yet profound. Okay. Galaxy Rose, I'm out. Got to be a productive mother. Have a great day. Thanks for the chat. Looking forward to the next. Appreciate you. Oh, a book that uses tropes brilliantly is The Princess Bride, which I just finished. Yep. Hopefully my wife doesn't watch this live stream, but I want to get her a book that will get her into other genres or just reading other authors. I know she is open to other books, but she's been obsessed with Dungeon Crawler Carl. And she's cooking through it. She's almost done. She's got 2.5 books left, and then she's caught up. So, what books would you recommend for her? I've tried getting her to read Name of the Wind, or at least suggesting it. She won't do it. I know, Toby, you've mentioned a Brandon Sanderson book, Trust of the Emerald Sea, I think. Tree of the Emerald Sea, something like that. Get sort of Kaigen. If you had a group read, I'd be there. Oh, okay. Princess Bride does have that same self-awareness edge, but it's different enough, I guess. How is True Grit? True Grit's great. It's dry. Not dry, but like dry in the characters. Well, no. There's one character that is very dry, and the humor is very dry, and I love it. Half of this book so far has been negotiating. There's so much more than just going after a guy for revenge. There's more to killing than just, pulling a trigger. You've got lawyers, you've got standard operating procedures, you've got, paperwork that needs to be done in order for marshals to do their job. And there's territories, there's jurisdictions, and boy, has this been a fun read. And I'm 140 pages in. I've got, less than 100 pages left, and I don't even know what's going to happen next. So it's exciting. So yeah, let's fill the chat with some suggestions for a book to get my wife. She loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. She loves cheesy romance books for the sake of just laughing and having a fun time, but not for the depth and actual character work in them. She has appreciation for characters and a good story. I know she does. She and I love some of the same films and same, TV shows. They're like 15, $20 here in the United States. Maybe try getting her a book in a genre that she enjoys in a different format. Okay. Trust of the Emerald Sea. I really enjoyed the audiobook. Went into knowing nothing. Another Sanderson book, which is fun to read, is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Okay. She also tried reading that famous coffee bestseller book, Until the Coffee Gets Cold or something like that. She didn't like that. She read 40 pages in and she stopped. I can't get my wife to read anything other than romantasy books. Thankfully, my wife loves reading all sorts of books. I know she does because she has, but she's just lost into Dungeon Crawler Carl. Addie LaRue is so good. Yeah, she loved it, and that's why I feel like she'd enjoy Name of the Wind because it's got those quiet moments and those tangible feelings. Has she tried Stephen King? 11/22/63 would scare her off because of how big it is. She has not tried Stephen King, but I know she wants to try it. Do you have any suggestions of what Stephen King book that's short, 300 pages maybe, that's spooky, or maybe that's just a good introduction to Stephen King? Because I know she wants to take a break in October to read something different. By the way, if I'm not wrong, the person who wrote the afterword in your copy of True Grit is the author of Golden Finch. No way. Oh, let's take a look. Oh, you're right. Wow. That's pretty wild. Wow. How long do you think this would be a good book? Golden Finch for her? For my wife? Oh, it's 771 pages. Nope. Get her Night Shift. Possibly the Inheritance Games. It is easy, short chapters and is stuffed with witty comments and sarcasm. Also an easy, fun side romance. Willa Author writes coming of age prairie novels. The short story collection. Cycle of the Werewolf is only a novella by Stephen King. Might be worth it. Cycle of the Werewolf. Let's take a look at that. Keep thinking of your reaction and laughing when I said green feather. Yeah, I don't know. She read The Last Unicorn, liked it, but she said it was hard to understand because of the writing style. But also, like, what about this? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What about this bad boy? What about Halloween Tree? That's good, right? Maybe get her to read that. Who knows? Or Salem's Lot, maybe. She might enjoy The Shining. Yeah. Pet Sematary is an excellent short read. Remind me what she loves about DCC. The dark humor and good characters. She likes it all. She loves everything about Dungeon Crawler Carl. She loves how funny it is, how fun it is, but also how deep it can be. How there's so many plots involved and the characters, and just Carl as a character. How he is someone that you can root for, and he's always trying to do the right thing while also making mistakes in the midst of his journey. I actually DNF'd The Last Unicorn. Tell me why. I'm curious. Was it the writing style? Was it just boring? Was it meh? I read The Gunslinger recently. It was my first time reading King. The next book I want to read from him is The Eyes of the Dragon. Very cool. She might also enjoy some classic mystery if she's into that. Halloween Tree is written very poetically. Rothfuss uses descriptions you'd expect beautifully. Bradbury uses descriptions you'd never expect beautifully. Wow. Okay. Darker Than You Think by Jack Williamson. You can't go wrong with Agatha Christie for that. Okay. Okay. I just want to try this out. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Okay, I didn't know that's little emotes. I DNF'd it because the story became a bit hard to keep track of. I was listening to the audiobook. Maybe that might have factored into it. I would recommend you read it physically. The way that book is written, I think you're going to lose track of a lot of the depth and landing of the writing when you listen to it. So I would definitely recommend getting it physically, sitting down, reading it physically with the words, and you will hopefully be able to grasp or at least metabolize the words a bit better. A good spooky season read for your wife could be Caroline by Neil Gaiman. It had a great stop motion adaptation. Okay. Oh man. Message me your recommendations, Toby, on Twitter because I don't want to lose track of all this. There we go. Love it. Let's go. Little emotes. It took me forever to make these little guys. That's so interesting. Let's get some coffees in the chat, y'all. I'm going to close out with a question. Oh, I reread Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross this year also. Yeah, she has read those. She loved them. She had fun with them. She said the romance stuff was fun. What book or books are you guys excited to read during spooky season? For me, yet again, I'm going to reiterate, I am reading, once October hits, I'm reading Something Wicked This Way Comes. Then I'm reading The Halloween Tree. And then I'm going to do The Shining. These are the books right here. Boom. So what are y'all reading this fall, this spooky season? See, the thing I like about this is it keeps the coffee warm. Yeah, Tales from the Passion Crypt. I totally agree. King is amazing, and I can't get enough of him. He's such a good storyteller. And I can't wait to read The Shining. I've never read it. I've watched the movie, I think, once or twice. And everyone tells me it's the book. It's the book that'll make you cringe. So that'll be fun. Not spooky season, but I am excited for Empire the Vampire 3. I've yet to read the first one, but I've got it. Waiting for it. I always read Something Wicked This Way Comes and Halloween Tree each October, but I can't wait to get into Salem's Lot for the first time. Oh, Toby, I can't wait too. I want to hear your thoughts on that. I definitely want to give that book a reread because I went to it with certain expectations, and it didn't land for me because it didn't meet my expectations. And I think now that I know what it is, I feel like I can enjoy it for what it is. I wonder if your wife would like Sabriel by Gareth Nix. Also, has a great cat companion and a lead character who always tries to do the right thing in search of missing father. Okay. Continuing the Sun Eater series, although it's not spooky, continuing Dungeon Crawler Carl. Love it. I'm planning on spending most of October absorbing, reading, rereading The Picture of Dorian Gray, and taking my time on that. How long is that book? Alrighty, gotta go now. Bye. Passion Crypt, appreciate you. I'm going to do Something Wicked This Way Comes and The Shining 2, maybe Salem's Lot as well. Harrison, I love it. I love it. I love it. Had a lot of fun with y'all this time. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Still working on book 2 of Dungeon Crawler Carl, slowly reading House of Leaves, really taking my time with it. Yeah, that book is an exercise. Mike from Mike's Book Reviews has me really wanting to get into Ronald Malfi, so hoping to start with Black Mouth in October. Okay. Yeah, Mike he's a guy that'll get me into any book. And I always love hearing his recommendations. I will try to do Something Wicked and then Frankenstein, and if I can Dracula. I want to sprinkle some H.P. Lovecraft. Super excited to read some classics. Autumn really is the perfect classic weather. I will probably try out the Aragon series. Very fun. Probably read Billy Summers or Misery. Oh, Misery. It's not too long. It's about 300, 400 pages, but older texts scare me. Yeah, Thomas. Same. Older texts scare me too. Paul, for your wife, I recommend Breathless. I know you like hiking. It's set in a mountain climbing scenario with a mystery involved. It's not too long, and it's a standalone. Take a look at that real quick. Okay. All right, everyone. I think that's it for me. I really appreciate you guys hanging out, sharing all the books that you've been reading, and hearing me talk about the books that I'm reading and what I have read and what I want to read. Probably get a video out to you Friday about All the Pretty Horses. Oh, tonight I'm doing a live stream on Alan's channel. I have that linked in the description. We'll be live at 5:30 PST, and we'll be talking about The Witcher and various other things, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we'll be in touch. See you, Toby. Bye, guys.